Krishna, the Lord, Padankita, marked with footprints, Marga, path, Pamshushu, in the dust, Acheshtata, rolled about, Prema Vibhina, lost in transcendental love, Dharya, mental equilibrium. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Please tell me whether Akrura, the son of Swaphalka, is doing well. He is a faultless soul surrendered unto the personality of Godhead. He once lost his mental equilibrium due to his ecstasy of transcendental love and fell down on the dust of a road which was marked with the footprints of Lord Krishna. Purport. When Akrura came to Vrindavan in search of Krishna, he saw the footprints of the Lord on the dust of Nandagram, and at once fell on them in ecstasy of transcendental love. This ecstasy is possible for a devotee who is fully absorbed in incessant thoughts of Krishna. Such a pure devotee of the Lord is naturally faultless because he is always associated with the supremely pure personality of Godhead. Constant thought of the Lord is the antiseptic method for Krishna oneself, antiseptic method of keeping oneself free from the infectious contamination of the material qualities. The pure devotee of the Lord is always in company with the Lord by thinking of Him. Yet in the particular context of time and place, the transcendental emotions take a different turn, and this breaks the mental equilibrium of the devotee. Lord Chaitanya displays the typical example of transcendental ecstasy, as we can understand from the life of this incarnation of God. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everyone. So, this is a very beautiful chapter because it's focusing us on reminding the pastimes of Krishna. So Vidura, as we know, is a pure devotee, and he is speaking to Uddhava at the moment, and he is questioning Uddhava. He's not just questioning Uddhava, he's actually trying to remember or help Uddhava meditate in himself upon all the glorious personalities in the context of Lord Sri Krishna. So this is the attitude that a devotee should have. You know, many times I was hearing my Gurudev, he was making this point, and I was discussing this point with Rajanath Prabhu yesterday also, that after his class he was telling us that how association of devotees is very important, and you know, we often confuse that. Often we talk about that when we associate with devotees, we're only going to talk about Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's glories, which is good. But that doesn't mean that one doesn't ask a devotee how he's doing. You know, one should not forget that. Even though, you know, it's his material context, it may not be a spiritual conversation, but still it's important because that will create the love between two devotees. So this is also important. Just asking a devotee how's he doing, how is things going in his life, is a personal form of communication. If you just see another devotee after a long time and you just start talking Krishna Katha, you know, which is great, which is no problem with that, but again, that wouldn't be that affectionate, that, you know, that, because we are not pure devotees as yet, so we have to deal with the material aspect sides also of the thing. So for a devotee to associate with another devotee, it's important to ask these questions. How's he doing? Like for example, when I met, it's pretty natural actually when you meet another devotee after a long time. Like for example, when I went to New Zealand after a long time, I met some old devotees from there, and I was inquiring, how are you doing? How's your partner doing? And how's your friends doing? And how's this Prabhu doing? How's that Prabhu doing? So this is more natural. When you meet another devotee, you ask him about everything because that's where your heart is. So it's good to know all these things. Sometimes people think, oh no, this is Prajalpa. It doesn't include Krishna, so I don't want to talk about it. Well, this is kind of important because that actually brings love and heart for Krishna in your heart. Because unless you have the love for the devotees, you won't be able to develop the love for Krishna. So we shouldn't take it. We should take it as, but we shouldn't do too much of that also. Like, we shouldn't just go on talking about how's others doing and forget about Krishna. So we got to have that little balance maintained. So this is Bhungte Bojayita Cheva. No, what's that? Was that revealing mind in confidence and inquiring confidentially? Is it? So this is, we should reveal our mind in confidence and inquire confidentially. So, coming back to the translation and purport in hand today. So we know today is Akrura Day. Akrura has been glorified by a very beautiful personality, Vidura. He's asking, and Uddhava is thinking of Akrura now because he's been asked. So, Akrura is a very special personality. He's probably the most controversial personality in Vrindavan. Because, he went to Vrindavan on the instruction of Kamsa to bring Krishna. So the only way to remember Akrura's pastime is, we cannot remember Akrura's pastime without glorifying Vrindavan. Because the only thing that glorifies, that comes out, the lesson that we learn is the glories of Vrindavan and his Dhamvasis. So, and which tells us how much dear Krishna is to Vrindavan Vasis, Akrura, a great devotee, a pure devotee, is going, and he's probably hated by all the Vrindavan, all the Brajavasis for taking Krishna away from them. And we hear that in Srimad Bhagavatam, how the Brajavasis are responding when Akrura is taking Krishna away from them. It's like, you can think, if Akrura runs for an election in Vrindavan, he's definitely going to lose, because that's how much people don't like him in Vrindavan, even though he's a pure devotee. So, but this is the different level, this is a different rasa of the Brajavasis with Krishna. Their attachment to Krishna is so strong that anyone who tries to take him away from them is not going to get a very good glorification. So this is what we'll touch upon that a little later. First we'll do a little recap or introduction how Akrura decided to go to Vrindavan. So we heard the pastime in chapter number 36 of the 10th canto. Well, it's a little end of the chapter before Krishna is just killing the demon, and in the end Kamsa is preparing to bring Krishna and Balaram in Mathura. So what does he do after? In just the end of the 36th chapter, we hear that Kamsa has called upon his wrestlers and told them to prepare, and then called upon some elephant person and told him to prepare. What was the name of the elephant? Yeah. So he was told to prepare this elephant because he's about to kill someone. If he doesn't kill, then I have my wrestlers to kill these two boys. But now he's thinking, how do I get Krishna and Balaram to come to Mathura? How are they going to come? Then he's thinking, and when a demon starts thinking, he will do anything to fulfill his cause, So he's thinking, oh, Akrura, he is a great person. Maybe he will be able to allure Krishna and Balaram come to Mathura. So he calls Akrura his chief advisor. He calls Akrura and tells Akrura that, my dear Akrura, when a demon starts a sentence with my dear, there is a hidden purpose behind that message. So I was hearing a beautiful class where Maharaj was explaining that when a demon starts a sentence, because we know a demon always thinks about himself and his own sense gratification. So if a demon is starting a sentence by saying, "My dear Akrura," that means Akrura was very smart. He knew. Well, now he's going to ask for something that he wants for himself. So "my dear Akrura" is not really that he means "my dear Akrura." He's not feeling like that, but he's just saying to get the job done. So that's what a demon thinks like. So we shouldn't be allured by these words. We should know that a person in material world will always try to get his way. So instead, we shouldn't glorify a devotee in a context like this, because when we glorify a devotee, or when we say "my dear so-and-so devotee," we should mean it with all our heart. We should give him full respect from the heart, because just by giving respect from the outside, it's all right for the time, but our consciousness is not going to improve unless we feel it from the heart. So when we glorify another devotee, we shouldn't just say, "Jai, Prabhu Jai, you did this glorious thing." We shouldn't just say out of envy. Sometimes we say it out of envy, Like, for example, when I was new, and I wouldn't do a single book on Sankirtan, I would see my Sankirtan partner doing like 20, 30 books. And I would like, "Jai, Prabhu, Jai, you're glorious, Prabhu, your service is glorious." I didn't really mean that. I was envious in my life. Why is he doing 20 books and I'm doing only no books? That's not fair. So we should not feel like that. We should not have envy towards another devotee and still glorify in that fake envy. We should mean it. If we glorifying a devotee, we should at least mean a little bit, part of it, so that we can feel that consciousness of glorifying another devotee. So when Akrura was told by Kamsa, Kamsa is telling Akrura now, "I have a very special task for you. Please go. Please take this chariot and go to Vrindavan and bring Krishna and Balaram." Now, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in the purport that when he pointed this chariot, he meant a fresh, new, brand new chariot. He was thinking, like Kamsa was thinking that I need to, because he was just not going to go. Like, he wanted to be 100% that Akrura goes, because he's the only option who can bring Krishna and Balaram. So he wants to, he's planned it everything, he's planned perfectly. He has bought a brand new, brilliant chariot. And he knew Akrura would drive that chariot. He would want to drive that chariot because that's a Kshatriya nature, right? So it's very easy. Like, for example, when someone gets a new car, a very flashy, like let's say a Ferrari. Someone buys a red color, brand new Ferrari, very catchy, very attractive. And he tells his friend, "Look, I bought this Ferrari," or he himself would want to drive that car. He would think, "I want to drive this car." It's just by looking at that car, it's just like, it's not going to do it. It's not going to cut it. I would like to take it out for a spin. I would like to try it out, test it out, see how beautiful this car is. So similarly, Akrura is also, comes to thinking that Akrura will be very tempted to drive this new chariot and, go to Vrindavan to pick them up. But Akrura is not thinking that. When Akrura hears about this chariot, he's thinking, "Oh, that's actually good, because, he's a king. First of all, I cannot say no to whatever he asks me to do. Even though I know the cause he's doing it for is wrong, but I still have to do it because it's my duty as a servant of the king." So Akrura is thinking, but I cannot go. I already started to think as soon as Kamsa pointed it out that he has to go to Vrindavan. He's thinking, I can't go to Vrindavan in my second-hand chariot and bring Krishna and Balaram. Then he realizes, he's already offered a new chariot, so that's better. We'll just take the new chariot to pick Krishna. So the point is, a lesson learned is that a devotee is always thinking about Krishna. A pure devotee doesn't think of himself that, I want to drive this chariot for my pleasure. He's using it in Krishna's service. Yukta Vairagya. Everything can be used in Krishna's service. So when he thinks that there is a new chariot, and even though Kamsa is offering this new chariot for him to drive, he's not thinking that I want to drive this chariot for my pleasure. He's thinking, I want to take this chariot so Krishna can sit in a brand new chariot. And I can be doing service to Krishna in that brand new chariot. So that's what a pure devotee is always thinking. For him, Krishna's pleasure is always the priority, and everything else is secondary. So, Akrura, now fully aware that he has to go to Vrindavan, he is just going crazy. He's thinking that this great demon, Kamsa, who is full of faults, all the negative qualities, but he's done one great thing. The first great thing he's ever done to me, he has asked me to go see Krishna. It's amazing, right? Imagine you're serving a demon. There's so much every day you're seeing all the negative things that a demon is doing. And you're thinking, oh, this guy, man, is just all over the place. I don't even know why I'm serving him. But still, it's your duty and you're doing it. So, and then one great thing he says, like, imagine someone's been trapped overseas after coronavirus, and finally the borders open, and the temple president tells you, my dear friend, please go to Vrindavan and take darshan. Well, like, yeah, we finally get to go to Vrindavan after a long, long time. Imagine 10 years, going to Vrindavan after 10 years, probably more, So that's what Akrura is probably feeling, something similar situation, because Akrura has been in Mathura, and Mathura is full of opulence, And Akrura is serving a demon, so he's hardly got time to focus fully his consciousness 24/7. Well, even though he's a pure devotee, he's always meditating upon the Lord, but the external circumstances are not as such where he can put himself into that mood of enjoying, relishing the nectar of Krishna. So he's thinking, now I've got the opportunity to finally go to Vrindavan, go to the holy place, and I will see Krishna with my own eyes. Now he's getting ecstatic. He's just starting to get ecstatic now, because he's just thinking, now his thoughts are changed. Now he's not thinking that tomorrow Kamsa is going to do this or he's going to do that, and that's the advice he has to give him. No, he's thinking, I have to go to Vrindavan. Vrindavan is the only thing that's in his mind now. So that's beautiful. And that's what we should also learn. When one is going to the holy place, we should take an opportunity to engage our minds and our hearts fully. If you go to Vrindavan, just fully take shelter of Vrindavan. Otherwise, what's the point? What's the point of going to Vrindavan? Like if you go to Vrindavan and you just talk about mundane matters, what's the point of going to Vrindavan? Might just stay here. What's the point? So that's what we should know. If we are going to Vrindavan, we shouldn't get caught up in other things. Like for example, sometimes I was hearing a lecture where someone was explaining that sometimes, devotees think, I have to go to Vrindavan, and when they get to Vrindavan, they go, oh, there's a sale at Loi Bazaar, or some other bazaar, some other market, there is a special sale for kurtas, or dhotis, or beads, or I got to get fancy necklace beads, tulsi mala, and many other things. So I should go to the market and buy these things first, before they run out, the good stocks finish and the sales run out. So all these things, devotee sometimes thinks, but we shouldn't be thinking that. That's not the reason to go to Vrindavan, first of all. So we should be going to Vrindavan to take shelter of the holy name, and the various pastimes performed by Krishna elevate our consciousness, rather than thinking that I have to go shopping. So this is the point, that when one is in Vrindavan, we should act before even one is in Vrindavan, that we are in Vrindavan. So this is something we can remember. If next time we go to a holy place, we should take full shelter of that holy place and try to not make offenses to the Dham. And so Akrura now is very excited and very eager. So he takes rest. He probably couldn't sleep that night because he knows he's going to Vrindavan the next day. So, and he leaves for Vrindavan, and the same day Krishna is in Vrindavan killing Keshi demon, or some demons he's been killing the same day during the noon, and then he's on his way, Akrura, to Vrindavan, and now Akrura's riding a chariot, right? He's riding the horses, and he's riding the horses. He's not focusing on the way. This is amazing. He's not even focusing where he's going, because he's fully elevated now in the consciousness of Krishna. He's thinking, oh, I will see Krishna after a long time. I will finally get the opportunity to see Krishna's face, and Krishna will touch me, and he will say, oh, look, my good friend Akrura has come. And Krishna will say, no, my uncle Akrura has come. beg your pardon, Krishna would say, he will touch his hand and he would be very transcendental. It will be such a beautiful thing. After so long, he will see his Supreme Lord, and it's amazing. And he just couldn't stop thinking about it. He's just like, that's all he's thinking about. And then he's looking around. You know, sometimes when you look, other cars, when you're driving in the city, you look outside, you see other cars, you don't see, oh, it's such an auspicious sign, there's so many cars here. No, but Akrura is thinking everything in Krishna's service now. He's thinking deers are running. So he's thinking, oh, such a great sign, it's such a great thing to see. It's like an auspicious thing to see deers running. That means I'm definitely going to see Krishna. So this is what he's thinking in his mind, because he's so excited. He just couldn't control himself. He's getting in that level of seeing Krishna. He's preparing his mind and consciousness in such a way that when he sees Krishna, he's out of control. So, I mean, everyone, not just Akrura, for example, so many other devotees. When Vidura saw Krishna, when he came to his house, and Vidura and his wife, they just lost, they lost all right and wrong. They become crazy, and they were feeding Krishna what? Banana peels. And throwing banana away and feeding Krishna banana peels. And Krishna is eating banana peels. So this is the glories of Krishna and his devotees. People forget what's right, what's wrong, what's offense, what's not offense. I mean, if you see in a shastrical context, you're feeding Krishna banana peel. Imagine if someone comes tomorrow, I'm going to feed Krishna banana peels. You're like, are you crazy? Are you stupid? That's not what we feed Krishna here. We give him the best. But Vidura has lost all senses and mind. He's just gone in a total ecstasy, total shock. And now he's feeding Krishna, doesn't matter, because he's doing with the pure heart. And Krishna knows that. He appreciates that. So we should always serve Krishna and make sure our consciousness is there, serving Krishna in the right way. So Akrura now is seeing signs, and then he comes closer to Vrindavan. As soon as he enters Vrindavan, he can see Krishna's lotus footsteps in Vrindavan, and he just stops the chariot, gets down off the chariot, and starts rolling in ecstasy, as it is described here in the purport. He once lost his mental equilibrium due to his ecstasy of transcendental love and fell down on the dust of a road which was marked with the footprints of Lord Krishna. Now imagine the situation. Vidura is meeting Uddhava, and now he's thinking Akrura. Sometimes, we also do that. When we try to remember a person, we remember him with his pastime. If some funny thing or some ecstatic thing that we can remember him by, like some great thing he has done. Like, for example, if I meet some devotee, I'll say, and we talking about the third person or a third devotee, we think, oh, you remember that devotee? Once he did once he went out on books and he did that, and everyone took books, and it's just like, something like that. So it's pretty much the similar situation. Now, Uddhava is talking, or Uddhava is hearing, and Vidura is remembering his pastime of Akrura. Like, what a great devotee, he's just gone, he's went to Vrindavan, he's just rolling in ecstasy like a madman. Oh, what a great devotee, Sometimes we do that. So it's very natural for another devotee to do that. And Akrura, as we know, is a pure devotee. He's seeing Krishna's footprints, and he's already prepared himself to get in ecstasy. And once he gets there and he's in full ecstasy, he's lost his mind. And Prabhupada also explains that many times we have seen the symptoms of pure love. These are the symptoms of pure love. Prema, Krishna Prema, which is the highest. The point is that one should not fake Krishna Prema. Excuse me. Many times, we hear Prabhupada in many purports as chastising all those so-called devotees who only want to talk about Rasa Leela or only want to talk about the highest elevated topics of Krishna, thinking everything else is too low for them. These are the only spiritual topics that we should be discussing at pure level, because we have reached the highest platform. Now the only thing we talk about is Rasa Leela and other elevated topics. But Prabhupada say this is nonsense. This is total nonsense. Every single topic of Krishna is as pure as the other topics of Krishna, because it's full of Satchidananda. It's eternal topics. There's no material qualities about these great pastimes. Just even when we hear Krishna killing a demon, that's the highest topic to relish. What to speak of Rasa Leela, which we can't even understand. Devotees, nearby devotees like us, we think, oh, we should hear about Rasa Leela. We got no taste for Rasa Leela. What are we going to do hearing about Rasa Leela? We can't even understand. Or instead, what we do is we think of ourselves. Oh, if I was in that position, how would that be? Sometimes we like to think like that, put ourselves in the shoes of Krishna. But this is not what a devotee should do. A pure devotee would never do such a thing. Any topic, as soon as Krishna's name is chanted, he is fully in transcendental bliss. He's Rasa Leela, killing demons, Dwarka Leela, Mathura Leela, they're all special to him because it all includes Krishna in it. But even though Vrindavan pastimes are a little extra special because it's in Vrindavan, it's more special. So one should be very cautious that when we hear, we should hear properly. All these pastimes, we shouldn't space out or zone out in our own world when Krishna's pastimes are being spoken and think, the acharyas explained that we have two ears and one mouth. We should listen twice and speak once. 2:1 ratio. One should hear more twice than when he speaks. So that's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. But we do the other way around, right? We speak more and hardly hear. So we should try to avoid talking too much. Instead, we should try to relish and hear the pastimes of Krishna. That's why Prabhupada has given us this beautiful book in Srimad Bhagavatam translated. He spent years and years writing all these Bhaktivedanta purports for us. So it's good that we take shelter of hearing from a pure devotee about other pure devotees also. So this is a little beautiful chapter of Akrura. There's many other. So when he finally met Krishna and he was in transcendental ecstasy and things happened, he took Akrura. Akrura was able to take Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, and then, will come later, the next chapters. So, yeah, this is pretty much it for today that I wanted to share. And yeah, there's another point that Prabhupada mentions about Lord Chaitanya, that Krishna in the form of Lord Chaitanya in his incarnation as a devotee, he's showing the pure symptoms of ecstatic love that a devotee must have when he is. These are the symptoms you can identify a pure devotee. But one should not be stupid, and any random person who imitates these symptoms should be classified or considered as a pure devotee. That is a strictly no business. That's not what we should think. You may come across people who are pretending to be in fully ecstatic love for the Supreme, but their actions may not be in. If you see another devotee crying, hearing, or some other random person crying, hearing the name of Krishna, they may not be a transcendental or a pure level, or maybe just some emotional level that he's feeling. But even though we shouldn't, like for example, Lord Chaitanya did not judge anyone who wasn't. He let everyone chant Hare Krishna. He gave everyone an equal opportunity. Like Prabhupada, when he went to the West, he saw many problems. He saw the degradation of Kali, but he also saw an opportunity to preach Krishna's message to everyone. He didn't judge what background a person may come from. He gave everyone equal opportunity to take part in chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.